Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from MouseSteps.com.
And this is episode number 149.
149.
Of MouseSteps Weekly.
Sponsored by Theme Park Connection in Orlando, Florida.
And a new location.
At Fun
I
Spot.
Drive. That's right, Fun Spot. So very exciting.
And great for Father's Day is coming up in about 2 weeks. They're running a little late with Father's Day, aren't they, this year?
What, the world?
No, just Father's Day. Usually it's a little earlier in the year. I usually see my dad around that time.
You're correct. And Pixie Vacations?
They are currently in Norway checking out the Disney, I believe it's a Disney Magic out there, and they'll be heading to Disneyland Paris as well. So they do all kinds of Disney and any kind of travel that you need to do, and they're always traveling themselves.
I just saw them with the Norway Troll. It looks just like the one from the Maelstrom.
I was shocked at that.
That looked very awesome. And also, Maple Leaf Tickets, our official ticket agency, the best deals on tickets in town. Check them out. On to part 2 of our Disneyland 60th anniversary coverage. Today, we're going to talk about Disney California Adventure. And this guy we met finally, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
And Oswald has been there for a little while now. We had been told that he didn't really have meeting times before we left for our trip, but he actually did have meeting times like every hour in this location. Very easy to find. We found him every day.
Well, and he was wonderful, by the way. It was very unique, different than most characters. He reminded me very much of a Warner Brothers character, just the way he acted. I like how he's going to sign
Warner Brothers?
Yeah, like one of the old Warner Brothers characters. I don't know. It just had that feel to him.
Interesting.
I loved it, though. I thought it was one of the most fun character meets, most energetic that we've done with the characters.
I thought it was fun, and I was getting autographs for my cousin's son. He has Crohn's. Is it Crohn's disease? Mm-hmm. So I just want to do a little something for him. So it's actually a lot more fun when you have the autograph book, and those diamond autograph books have stickers and everything too. So
they're very nice. We want one for ourselves now. See, that you try to do something for someone else, and you like it yourself. See how he's very animated. I loved it. And then we moved over to Olaf. We had not met Olaf officially in the park at a public event before. So and you had just received the gelatoni. Tell the story.
Oh, no, a friend of ours named Jason, he has a website, right, the Disney Geek from California. He had gone to Tokyo, Japan, yeah. And so he picked up, I asked him if he could buy gelatoni, and I had just received it like a half hour earlier. So you
were so happy to have it. And
but I never brought him back to the park because I didn't want to be like somebody who just carries around a plush all day.
There's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong, but I'm, being almost 50, I try not to do too much.
Let me tell you, you almost lost your gelatoni.
I know.
Because Olaf loved it. He was quite impressed with your gelatoni.
I'm not a big fan of Duffy, but I love the gelatoni.
So it was the Diamond Celebration and California Adventure. It was fully decked out. I think it looks great. They have the bling, the banners, all that stuff. And we're looking at Carthay Circle here.
Yes, the bling. And we dined there also, and we'll be talking about that later as well.
Also, the red car trolley was, as you can see, it's appearing here. And we love to watch the Newsboys show, which changed a little bit this trip.
Well, they added a new song called If You Can Dream It, You Can Do It, which Walt Disney never said.
Right.
Tom Fitzgerald, Imagineer, made that
for Horizons, of course.
Yes. So I just think that's always funny.
It's often misquoted as a Walt Disney quote. Walt Disney never said it.
No, so they should.
But it's okay. It fits. It fits the song, and I love this song. I love A Suitcase in a Dream. It's a great number, and I always enjoy watching the show. It's a great show, and also there's a surprise appearance by Minnie. I think Minnie
for like
Mouse.
10 seconds. We knew she was going to be in it, and I thought it was going to be like a little something significant, but it is quick. Like you blink,
I'm sure
and you will not see her.
It was significant to Mickey.
Yeah,
I'm sure
but
Mickey
I mean, it's not,
much appreciated having
like,
his Minnie.
It's not like she has a number in it. She comes out of we'll see it, right?
We'll see it very soon.
She comes out of the bus, and then she goes to her meet and greet pretty much. And she has a new outfit on, which was created while we were there. She came out for the first time.
Speaking of Minnie, here she
Here she comes. She's coming out of the trolley.
You will see her entire appearance, by the way.
And she
takes charge.
She does take charge. She says hi to me, and this is it. She's heading off to the side. She'll stand for a moment.
And that's it. That's all you're going to see of Minnie.
I was waiting for her to come do something, but that is her new outfit. We have a video of her in her new costume as well, and it really looks great. But there she is. She's heading off to her meet and greet.
Speaking of her new outfit, there she is. In case you didn't see her in that long segment of the show, there she is modeling it for you.
I put up a picture on Instagram, and Disneyland reposted it, which means a lot more Instagram followers, a few hundred extra for me, which was very nice.
Well, I enjoyed the new Trolley Newsboys show. I thought the new number worked very well, and I will see it again next time we go.
But sure. I don't think it added a lot to it. I think it could have gone with or without it. It's such a terrific, you have to stop there to do it.
Right, absolutely. So now we went to Cars Land, and we always like seeing the various cars around Cars Land, and there's Red, the fire truck. We had our picture with Red, the fire truck.
Didn't we? Once or twice, yeah.
In Radiator Springs, we rode the Radiator Springs Racers a number of times. Always a favorite of ours.
And we get the photo pass in Disneyland. If you head out to Disneyland, as long as you book a couple weeks ahead, it's still only $69, and that includes like photos on Radiator Springs Racers, Tower of Terror, Space Mountain, and some other
all the
attractions.
Rides that offer on-ride photos, I believe, are connected to PhotoPass.
Are they? I'm not even sure on that, but I just know it's such a great deal for the $69, and then you get extra photos and such.
Well, for the 24-hour day, it was nice because they had special various photo opportunities around, and we were able to get photos included with the PhotoPass. So any kind of special event, or even Halloween and Christmas, they have special things that make it worth it.
Well, they have special Disneyland 60 photo ops too, which you can have taken with your own camera, but you can't like put borders and stuff on it, which is something we can do.
No, we had just seen the former area of Luigi's Tires, which is now being reimagined, and we hear it'll be a nice trackless system, sort of like the Ratatouille type ride that we saw at Disneyland Paris. So
if you can dream it, you can do it.
That's right. That's what Walt would have said.
He would have said it if he had thought of it first. But.
Right. Well, anyway, just a quick look at all the different Cars Land characters. We always enjoy being in Cars Land.
Yep. And
Radiator Springs, I should say.
Lightning McQueen. And I like that, they're always with the cars so they don't like run over people. I always worry in those, sometimes when we're in like an omnibus or a red car trolley, people just walk in front of them like it's not a real vehicle. Well, see, they are real vehicles. Yes,
the cars have escorts in front
and
back.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like
It's good. It's good that they have those. Sometimes they'll have, with the trolley, I think they'll sometimes have somebody ahead of it. But it's like, if there's a vehicle coming, just get out of the way. Like, just stay to the side of it and don't get hit.
And here he is. I think Red is about to depart after a day meeting his fans.
And I love Radiator Springs out there. And also the Buena Vista Circle area. All of that was such a, Disney California Adventure used to be Disney's California Adventure, and it kind of wasn't that good. So it is such a great park now.
Well, I see in the background you have Flo's Diner. We actually ate there this time. I didn't really care for it in the past, but this last trip it was wonderful. They have a new menu. The ribs I thought were great. You enjoyed your turkey sandwich?
I had a turkey dip, and that was very good. My favorite food, as far as counter service, was Paradise Garden Grill, which is more on the boardwalk area. The worst was the Mexican, and we're not going back there.
We're not going back. Well, the big thing was the new show, Disney's World of Color Celebrate. I think there's more to the title.
No, that's it. World of Color Celebrate. It's very short title. I mentioned that we get the World of Color package, which is $39 for lunch. We get a discount with our pass.
This is at Carthay.
Too, at Carthay Circle. And then you get a fast pass ticket. You still have to arrive early if you want like a spot on the railing. We got there an hour early. But really, to me, it's almost like you get a discount on the food because it was like $39. And then you get a ticket, which is one of the better seats in the house.
Right.
No seat.
This is actually, there's no seat. But this was our view of the World of Color. The only thing I didn't like was this annoying light post right in the center of my view.
But there are other light posts around.
Right. It's hard to really, when the show isn't going on and you don't see it all the time because we're here from Florida, it's hard for me to know where the mist screen is going to be. And I would be able to choose more wisely if I knew exactly where it was. But it was okay. We got the main gist of the show. Let's talk about the show. It's broken into 5 sequences. The opening, where you're introduced by Neil Patrick Harris and Mickey Mouse. They're sort of your hosts. Then there's a segment. It was all started by a mouse, all about Mickey. Then there's the golden age of animation, that's where they throw in things like Frozen and Star Wars and
too much Frozen.
Things that we don't think necessarily fit. Then the dream of Disneyland. That is what we're looking at now, and it was wonderful to see and hear all these great Disneyland elements. That was probably the best part of the whole show.
Well, I thought some of the best part of the show was the Forever Young at the end, and I kind of would have liked to have seen maybe Walt through the years with Forever Young. I think that would have been really good.
Right. Well, I mean, we're looking at that, the whole Disneyland segment now. This is the Cars Land segment, and they'll have the Haunted Mansion. You'll see the Small World. I actually did a cut where I cut out all the parts that I didn't like.
It went down to 10 minutes.
It went down to, but that's a fine 10 minutes. It's the 10 minutes of all the Disneyland, all the Walt stuff. So that's what I ended up putting up. Here's the Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm a big theme park fan, and of the 3 new shows, the Paint the Night Parade, which is amazing. We loved it. And the Disneyland Forever Fireworks, which really didn't have much Disneyland. At least this had a lot of Disneyland. Oh, here's the Haunted Mansion segment.
Was my least favorite of all the World of Colors, yes. But that doesn't mean it's terrible. It just means I don't think it's as strong as previous World of Colors. I also was highly annoyed by these air cannons that were right next to me, and they're all over the place. It's like, choo, choo. It's like, what do I need that for? Like, why do you have to scare me while I'm watching World of Color?
Well, and
then there's
the
fire.
area we were had the giant air cannons right in front of you. But just the show itself, again, I thought it was kind of disjointed. There was greatness, and then there was stuff. It didn't flow well together for me. My
favorite part of the World of Color was the World of Color package at Carthay Circle. So much
the food,
so.
You mean, before we even got there?
To me, the whole Carthay Circle experience is almost always great. Our service was just so this time, but everything else, the atmosphere and all, just the way they do it to me is fantastic. And then for dinner, we're probably doing dinner that even though we don't need to see World of Color again, we're going with friends for dinner, it sounds like, in August.
I would like to see it and not be recording it. I would like to actually enjoy watching the show. So I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I know the 10 minutes that I like are awesome, which we're looking at now. Here's the Star Wars segment at the end. It's sort of the Star Tours. And of course, they're even going to throw a little hint to the new movie there.
There's the air cannon.
Yeah, you love those air
hate
cannons.
it. I hate that thing. Like, why? Why do you have to scare me?
To keep you awake. Perhaps you fell asleep.
I didn't fall asleep, and I certainly wasn't going to fall asleep with that.
There it is. That's the big one that's right in front of you that keeps blasting off there.
But if you book if you book the World of Color package to get this great Carthay Circle view, you have to tell them now that you want the World of Color meal. It used to be you didn't have to tell them, but right now they said because it's so popular, you can. But for the second showing, we saw this showing. This was the first one.
Right.
They were inviting people to come in, even if you didn't have the package, because they had room left.
Right. They were just, come on, do you want to see the show?
And we're like, we already saw it.
We're good. We've seen the show.
Well, we had to be up in the morning.
Now, what about Neil? Do you think Neil was a good fit? Did they put too much Neil Patrick Harris for you? What do you think about him?
Well, we were told that they put a lot in, and because I was expecting him to be throughout it, it wasn't as much as I thought, so it worked okay for me.
Okay.
I don't need him there, but, I like Neil Patrick Harris, so it didn't take away either.
Well, here's your Forever Young commercial. That's the Disneyland commercial for the 60th. The Forever Young is the music.
But I like the music so much. I would have liked it playing kind of throughout it, and maybe, starting with Walt when he was young and then showing his accomplishments and him through the years, and then maybe going back to see him young again, with kind of... Like, I have this thing all in my head.
Well, I do love this. Again, I do love this. If you, again, I should say, I edited just the Disneyland part. I think it's great when it's just the Disneyland part. So there you go. In your mind while you're there, if you can try to just remember the Disneyland parts in the good sections of it, and you'll get a good show.
I don't like that they're putting Frozen into everything now. I love the movie. I still like Let It Go, but I don't like Let It Go ever all the time. Well, I don't want to hear it all the time.
When we were watching this was not a media showing or anything. It was for paying guests. And when Let It Go came on, when that segment started, I heard an audible groan
around us.
Literally,
a lot.
and everyone's like, "Oh!" And at the end, somebody was doing mock claps. So.
No, well, he was mock clapping. He was like, "Yay!" So, like, he did that after a lot of stuff, but because
probably not a good sign.
Because nobody was clapping around. But at the same time, like when Olaf was in the parade, all the kids were like, "Olaf! Olaf!" Like, Frozen still gets a lot of attention, but I think it's more the kids who really want to see the Frozen now. I like Frozen. We met Olaf, but I don't want to see it and hear it in every single show and parade anymore.
Right. I think everybody probably agrees on that. It's
not everybody. Some people still love it, but I think...
Well, I don't dislike it. I just think, I don't know if you needed it in all 3 of the new shows. I think if it wasn't in this new World of Color, I would have been okay.
Right. I think it's fine in the parade. and I don't think it's necessarily needed in Disneyland forever. But like the parade, I think that would have been enough.
That was a very good fit.
It was a good fit.
If you do see this show, don't leave at the end, because there's some great music at the very end after the show is over and people are walking out. Fantastic stuff, and I'm going to link to that in the show notes. I just put that up. I really enjoy hearing the, I guess you would call it the post-show outros. So anyway, that's it. That's our World of Color. That's the end of our Disneyland 60th coverage. Oh, there is one of those blasters.
I don't like that.
We really did have a great time, and we can't wait to go back in August. Disneyland, California Adventure, all of it.
And there's still more we haven't talked about with Disneyland, so we may, cover it in a future show.
Absolutely. There's just so much going on. We'll definitely have more from Disneyland in the coming weeks.
And the next thing we did was the IPW International Powwow Convention that was here in Orlando. We only found out that we were doing it like 5 days ahead of time while we were in California. And this is something you usually know a month and ahead of time. And when I wrote to them, it was already closed. So I didn't know we were in. And this was another 4 days. All of a sudden it's like...
Yeah, we came back from 9 days at Disneyland, had a day to catch our breath, and boom, right into the IPW powwow. It was worth all the tiredness, though. Why don't you sort of set up what it was about?
Well, I mean, what I thought is that we were just going to make mostly contacts like with Boggy Creek and such like that. And I was so excited about that. But it turned out we will show some of what we're doing. Boggy Creek airboats are one of the first things that we did.
Yes.
We did a tour in Apopka. They are usually in Kissimmee, but they're starting in Apopka as well. We have never been on an airboat, so...
Yeah, we've been in Florida for a long time and never had done one of these airboats. Let me tell you, it was very different than I thought. These things are fast.
Well, it's like a thrill ride. Now, we went in the afternoon, so we saw gators earlier and later, but not so much during. Like, I saw maybe one or two small gators during. If you ever do an airboat tour, you want to do it like in the morning or at night, because I guess they do these night tours, and they invited us to come out.
You see a lot more animals. If you're looking for animals, when we went, was the hot of the day. And it's sort of like the safari at Animal Kingdom. There's not a lot of activity during the hot of the day.
Morning and evening will be the best.
Dusk, nighttime even, is a great time. Now, if you just want to go fast, though, this is a fine time because you will be cooled off. These boats are really moving along the Lake Apopka there.
I was actually a little nervous because I don't swim or anything. So,
you would swim if the boat made you swim.
So it took me a couple minutes to sort of get my bearings. It's like, wow, this goes fast. But then when you're going through kind of the swampy area, it goes a lot slower.
Well, it's very safe. We talked to our driver, and he said that they have not ever had anybody fall into the drink. So
that's good.
I am not...
We're much higher than this. So, like in that type of boat, I wouldn't have any issues. But we were... Like, I was on a kind of like almost on a tall stool.
Right. We had our own boat because we were doing the video and things for the show. So we were videotaping the real boat that is used. So this was a private boat that can go much faster than the real.
I had no idea, again, that it was a thrill ride. So I had so much fun on this. So I am really looking. These are gators that, were kind of meandering about. So it was nice to actually see them.
There we are.
Look how much I
would
really enjoyed this.
Highly recommend it. We'll be back. We'll be doing that again.
Yes, and I can't wait to talk about it again.
So there was a party at the Magic Kingdom that night, our first night at IPW.
And we didn't even know we were able to go to this until like that day.
Yeah, what a shock. This reminded me of being back at Disneyland for the 60th, but much, much, much less crowded.
Only 6,000 of us were in the Magic Kingdom that evening.
And what an amazing job they did for this. I mean, they created a special logo. You even met the designer of the logo on the way in.
Todd Baddick made the logo, and he is so talented.
But this event was really all about characters. It was a wonderful character for us. Yes.
For us, some people don't care. Many people don't care about characters
it even better
at all.
Us.
Yes.
Many people. Well, they were distracted by the complimentary bars and food. We skipped all that because we wanted to meet all these characters, and you'll see it just gets better and better as we explore the event.
Yeah, we didn't do too much with the food and drink, just a tiny bit at the end.
Yeah.
We got on a ride.
But we thought we would have plenty of time to just relax and enjoy.
We had no idea.
They kind of blew us away with this. And now we are being summoned into the collector, of course, is wanting us to be in his collection. So these girls here are asking us to step inside for a photo. Lots of great photos. And I kept my camera running, so this is the backside of the photo. But and all the PhotoPass pictures were complimentary, so we took full advantage of that, didn't we?
We did, because we were meeting all the characters.
There is the actual photo they took. So
but then we took with our own camera also.
Right. So and I'm not quite sure what these guys are. I'm sure they're connected to Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, we also had so many people saying, "Why can't they have?"
That was Groot and the fox,
but not really. I would have loved to meet a real Groot character.
Right. We should not shortchange this. What was this called?
Is it nitrogen popcorn or something?
Nitrogen infused popcorn. Phenomenal. Fantastic.
I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Oh, I did love it. I must have had it 3 or 4 times throughout the night. That was good stuff. Mm-hmm. It was a hot day, and that actually really cooled you off.
And here is Bert and Mary and the penguins, and we met them, a whole bunch of them, at Disneyland Paris as well when we went to the Innovations brunch.
Right, that's true. But this was a very nice setup. You know, they've had a setup like this for some of the parties, special events, and things like that. And but I've not seen it this thorough with the menus out and everything, and you could sit down and really kind of get into the whole
and there's theme Pinocchio. And we had a lot of people say that on Instagram and all that they should have a pass holder thing where you can pay to go to something like this. And I agree. Like, we're pass holders, and we would love this, not just pass holder, but just for guests paying.
The thing is, what made this as good as it was is there weren't a lot of people that were interested in it, so you could just walk up to these photo opportunities. If this was something like
Villains Unleashed was packed.
And that's what it would be like. There'd be huge lines, and it would be very hard for them to do something like this on a regular basis. I'm sure there's a way, but again, most people were distracted by the rides and the drinks and the food and all this. So we are very fortunate, and we really wanted to meet all these characters.
And the IPW magazine, it said they put me in it, and then they mentioned the young at heart, and I'm like, I know I'm the young at heart now.
I like how Peter Pan and Wendy just walked by that giant bar there.
I didn't even notice that they had a Duffy.
Yeah, they had a Duffy. I had asked them about the Duffy, and okay, here we go. These are Haunted Mansion characters.
We were over here for like an hour. Like, this is where we spent 1/3 of our time.
They never come out.
They never do.
I have never seen the Parasol Girl
Daisy,
before. Well,
I think is her name.
I've heard that is not an official name.
I don't think.
That is fan named.
I don't think it's an official name, but that's what.
Tightrope Walker,
right.
I guess, is her official name. She was great, though. She, I asked her a bunch of questions. We talked about the crocodile. She was wonderful, and they all really got into the character that they were. They knew their backstory. It was great.
It would be nice, and there's a bride. It would be nice if they came out for the Mickey's Not So Scary.
I asked her for a really close shave, and she kind of demonstrated that for the picture.
Yeah, I didn't like that so much.
Well, it wasn't a very sharp knife that she has, and she would never hurt me. One would think. But I agree with you about having them come out at Mickey's Not So Scary. Maybe not for meeting, but maybe just as characters sort of wandering around, even up on the hill, as you'll see the hitchhiking ghosts were on the hill on the way in. Because, when you meet, you create big lines, and some people want autographs and pictures and everything. So sort of like here we have the grave digger, and he's the one with the dog.
Like the caretaker,
right? I'm sorry, yes, the caretaker. And the caretaker was wonderful. He was joking with us. We've seen him around.
Yes, we've
lot.
seen him around, yeah.
Yes.
For many years.
We even asked him about Ben Franklin, who he remembered, and he missed Mr. Franklin. So perhaps we'll see him again, he said.
And there was a lineup of the cast members there.
And this is something that is from the Boo to You parade. It is the ballroom dancers. They did a great job, and they even had special moves that I had not seen before in the parade, sort of like when they have the neck breaker, like that right there. So they were great, and they were posing for pictures afterwards. Really set the mood for the Haunted Mansion. And this was not, there's one of the PhotoPass pictures. And if you look carefully, you'll see even the tables had Haunted Mansion wallpaper. It was very intricate, very decorated. I mean, they went to so much detail to do a great job. I'm just so impressed by the whole thing.
And again, I mean, we go to the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party every single year, so I don't know why they don't do a little bit of this. I wouldn't expect all of it, but some of it.
Well, we see these hitchhiking ghosts in the parade. They are clearly the same ones that are in Mickey's Boo to You Halloween parade.
Of course they are the same, because there's only one of each.
Oh, yes, that's true. There's only, yes, I get your
and
point.
And as he said, they did not meet and greet. You just kind of saw them, and they didn't play with you or anything like that.
Right. And this was our next encounter. It's Flynn Rider with Rapunzel under Rapunzel's tower, which was very fitting. It's very cool to see them there.
And I know that everyone's, disappointed that Flynn Rider doesn't really meet most of the time. And I think he's the one character in the parks that really should still be there because he's still so very popular.
What about this? How cool was this Cogsworth? I haven't met him in years.
I don't know if I've ever met him.
He used to meet with Lumiere when Beauty and the Beast, the movie, came out years ago. I met both of them at the time Disney MGM Studio, but it's been a long time, and it was wonderful. I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to actually meet him and be up close with him. He was great, and what a perfect place to have him in the Be Our Guest restaurant.
I didn't used to meet characters too much, so I mean, when I was a kid, yes, and then now, but kind of in between.
And here's the Beast. Now the Beast always appears here
at dinner
at Be Our Guest Castle, but wouldn't it be great if they filled this place up with all the Beauty and the Beast characters for a special night, something like that someday? How cool would that be?
There are so many things that Disney could do.
Yes, and here are some pictures that you took of Cogsworth there.
Kind of going back and forth there, I think.
And we're going to link to all these segments. I have videos up. I have a playlist of all these encounters. So, this was a great one. Gaston and his Bimbettes. Now, that is an official name we looked up. They are called the Bimbettes.
And Gaston, I don't think you'd want the Bimbettes there most of the time. I think women want to be the Bimbette,
Is that what you feel? You want to be the Bimbette?
Well, the thing is, if he's paying attention to these girls, and I don't care for myself, but I think most girls want him to, have fun with them, not necessarily to have fun with other girls while they're trying to get a picture.
I thought the Bimbettes were good. They
I'm
added
sure you
character to the whole thing. At the time, I challenged Gaston to reenact the pose that he has in his statue back there, his fountain statue, and he actually did it. He found a prop. It was a heavy prop barrel. See the barrels off to the left? And he picked it up, put it on his shoulder, stood away up on there, and reenacted it. So he was a great Gaston. Gaston has become one of the
he's the only Gaston.
Oh yes, of course. There he is. See how he did the pose? Too bad we didn't have a second barrel. And of course, it would not be a character-filled special night without trotting out Anna, Elsa, Kristoff, and Olaf. And everybody was given these glow ears that turned frozen color blue on Main Street. I thought that was a nice effect.
They're very heavy. I don't know if I'd wear them too much again. They're kind of heavy.
They offer
ears.
Just the ears that go on, a women's version. That's not the cap, much lighter.
Oh,
version.
I probably would prefer that.
You would do better with that. They looked great. This was again, you're going to scold me. I was going to say this is a great Anna Elsa. But there's only one Anna Elsa. One. That's true.
And
but they looked very good this evening.
This also wasn't a meet and greet. It was just you could kind of look at them. And...
Kiss goodnight, I call it.
Yes,
this was the big kiss goodnight because they were saying goodnight, and the night had officially ended. Although, even though we're ending it with this, and Mickey and Minnie are saying goodnight, they had the parade floats all around the town square.
With the regular characters like Pluto, not in anything special. A lot of the characters around were also just regular characters, but we didn't show them because you've seen them.
Right. And it really was to showcase the rides to all of these travel people that hadn't been there. But again, they just loaded it up with characters. It was a magical night, one of the most magical nights I've ever had at the Magic Kingdom in 40-some years.
And we were told, we knew there was lunch every day at the IPW events, and we almost didn't go to it was we can skip lunch. But the thing is, when you have 6 Broadway casts coming, 150 Broadway performers coming for one of the lunches for 45 minutes just to sing Book of Mormon.
Yes, this was Book of Mormon. We didn't know the magnitude of this. We learned the first day the lunchtime entertainment was Foreigner, the band Foreigner, and that kind of set the bar high. And then again, they trucked in 150 Broadway performers overnight, flew them in overnight.
If you saw the
viral video,
the sing-off between the Aladdin cast and the Lion King cast, they were on the way to Orlando to be part of the lunch. And I just couldn't believe how much they did in less than an hour. I
mean, it was amazing. You had tears. I had goosebumps. These shows were fantastic shows, and I did not expect this kind of high quality entertainment in the middle of a day meeting and trying to get contacts and things like that.
Well, in the morning you had to do press conferences every morning, and we were at the New York one, and they're like, well, we have David Hyde Pierce and 150 Broadway performers coming. I'm like, I bet
maybe we should attend.
No, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, there's no way that you're bringing all these people down.
Here's the actual cast of the Aladdin show from Broadway, and it was wonderful. I had not seen this is one of the shows I have not seen. I have seen quite a few of them, but we have not seen the Broadway version of Aladdin.
There are so many, like they were all good. Like I could see any of them, although Matilda and Fiddler on the Roof is not playing right now, but it is doing a reprisal. Is that how you say it?
Revival.
No, well, I think it's a reprisal. Either way, you can say it either way.
Yeah, you can.
And it looks fantastic. And they did one rehearsal for Fiddler on the Roof, and that was it. And he came out there and just blew everyone away.
We're going to see a short clip of that. I think the next thing we're going to see is Matilda. Going in, I had not really known much about this show, but after seeing the bit we saw, it looks great. I'd want to see it.
And this is Tim Minchin with David Hyde Pierce. Tim Minchin is a actor. We've seen him. He's a comedian. He's a singer. He's a songwriter. I don't know if he's as much a singer as he is a songwriter. We mostly have seen him on television.
Right.
But he is just fantastic. And I'm not sure what her name is.
She was a previous Matilda.
Right, I believe she was previous, not current.
I guess he said that she had outgrown the part, but, she's one of the more...
she was really good.
Right.
I mean, this was just one of those things where you're like, oh, I have to see this. And then they brought out all these kids at the end to sing. Just
fantastic. It was, what an unbelievable night that was. But it's not over yet. This was one of your favorite parts.
This was my favorite part. Danny Burstein, and they're bringing about a revival of Fiddler on the Roof. It isn't even out yet. He had one rehearsal and he's out here, and it was just like amazing.
It was tremendous. He did a great job.
And I would like to see that in the coming year.
And of course, The Lion King, which I have seen the original cast of that in New York. Great show, and still great. I mean, they did one of my favorite numbers, He Lives in You. You'll be seeing a little bit of that coming up. This kind of shows you how big the lunchtime audience was.
6,000.
Are we sure all 6,000 attendees were at lunch?
No, I don't know that 6,000 made it because there were tables that were not taken.
Okay.
But I would say there were 6,000 settings and most everybody was there.
Right. So what a full multimedia presentation that was.
And if you haven't seen on YouTube with the two casts kind of having fun at the airport, with the songs, you should check that out.
Absolutely. And here's the He Lives in You, my favorite part of the whole Lion King show. I love it.
I have never seen it, the show.
Oh, really?
No, I haven't.
I did not. We need to see it. It travels all the time. We need to see that.
I know. Or in here or in Broadway, London, whatever, just somewhere.
I should mention NYC and Company sponsored all these great Broadway shows, and they had a press conference talking about some awesome new things coming to the city, including the New World Trade Center. Well,
the One World Observatory, I believe, just opened. And that is something that we are going to want to see soon.
Yes, on the 100th and 1st and 102nd floors of World Trade Center building.
And also, over by the Empire Outlets, there's going to be something called the New York Wheel, and that will be 630 feet tall, which is 200 feet taller than what we have here in Orlando.
Yeah, the tallest wheel in the world.
Crazy.
In the world.
And that just started construction.
Lots of cool stuff going on in New York City. Now, we're jumping ahead to lunch on the final day, which was sponsored by Walt Disney World. And here you're seeing a montage of the construction. Looks like that's opening day at the Magic Kingdom. I know Roy O. Disney was in attendance. I think there he is down there by the flagpole. So again, Disney sponsored the entertainment on the last day. It's hard to beat the Broadway shows that we just saw. This was sort of like the trolley show. They did a number. You're seeing Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom each had one number representing their park.
Right. And I mean, we see this all the time. So in a much smaller setting. So it was, I'm sure for some it was exciting, but for us, we live here. So it'd be like probably if you're in New York and seeing all the Broadway shows, it's like, we've seen it.
Right.
So, but it was nice. The Voices of Liberty are always really terrific, but we see them not with 6,000 people, usually with like 100 people.
Right. And here is from Beauty and the Beast,
yeah.
Disney's, at the time, MGM Studios, now Hollywood Studios, one of the numbers from that show.
Right. And I mean, it was nice that they were able to do all of them. They brought a little something from all the parks.
Right, and here's a little clip from Finding Nemo the musical. I mean, it was a big deal to bring all these shows over. But what I thought was interesting, at the end, they showed a little bit of footage talking about Pandora, the Avatar land coming to Animal Kingdom.
I was hoping they would bring out performers and they'd sort of like dance to some of the Rivers of Light music or something. I was really kind of hoping for that, but it wasn't that.
I see some of the Na'vi back there coming there. Some of this footage we had not seen before. There's Joe Rohde, some of the Imagineers. That looks very interesting.
That reminds me of the Legoland elevator.
Yeah, I'm sure that's where they got the idea.
The disco elevator.
There's a Mr. Cameron there now. Some of the bioluminescent. What is it called?
Bioluminescent plants.
That's right.
And the Rivers of Light.
Rivers of Light.
Coming.
Yes. So hopefully that'll be a World of Color quality show that I think Animal Kingdom could really use something like that. Some nighttime entertainment.
But I hope they don't have any air cannons.
I heard they're going to have Let It Go somehow.
The Let It Go segment.
There'll be a Frozen segment. Well, they'll find a way to fit that in. What do you think?
I hope not. But I think it will be nice to finally have Animal Kingdom with nighttime entertainment, which I thought they always should have had.
So anyway, that was the end. Of course, you had to bring out the big cheese. Everybody's waving goodbye. And really, that's another show for us. Let's sort of wrap it up, giving final thoughts about the IPW conference. All I can say is, wow, I can't wait for next year in New Orleans.
I was just happy that we were meeting airboat people, because I wanted to do that, the Boggy Creek Airboat. So this is nothing like what I expected. We were there to make contacts and go to the press conferences, and all of a sudden it's like, this is lunch. And I said, I will miss my lunchtime entertainment.
Yes, that's true. The day after this, we had lunch entertainment sponsored by Judge Judy. So it wasn't quite the same. It wasn't quite the same, if you ask me. But anyway, that is another show. Thanks to our sponsors, Pixie Vacations. Now they are off in Norway having a good time.
Right, and I hope we'll be able to bring a little bit of coverage if they bring us some.
They said they will. Yes. I have no doubt we'll have some good coverage.
And MapleLeafTickets.com.
That's right, our official ticket agency. The best deals on tickets in town. Check them out. And Theme Park Connection, 2 locations now in the Orlando area.
Have a great week.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week.